GamingBolt presents 14 most amazing facts from the Dark Souls series. Shh, can you hear the sound of Git Good? The Dark Souls series is home to some of the best realized worlds in gaming, and developers from Software packed it full of secrets and lore that they then asked the players to put together. It's helped the series have some staying power, but with so much going on, even the most hardcore players didn't catch all of it. So here we have 14 amazing facts from the whole Dark Souls series that will really show just how deep the darkness goes. Crystal Ring. Of the many inspirations that make up Dark Souls as a series, one of the stranger elements is a flash of Ultraman. Taken from the Japanese television show of the same name, the hero Ultraman and his Ultra Slash attack were used as the basis for the Crystal Ring's shield's attack. Director Hidetaka Miyazaki didn't quite love how it came out, as the artist he explained it to didn't quite understand the reference. King's Field. Before Dark Souls, or even Demon Souls, From Software was doing a similar action RPG series called King's Field. There are references all over the place in the series, but of particular note is Seath the Scaleless, which calls back to Seath the White Dragon from King's Field. Strangely, in those games, Seath was a protector and generally on the side of good. From even had a ready-made evil dragon from King's Field and a dragon called Gyra, and that dragon's appearance is pretty similar to a character from the Prepare to Die expansion, Kalameet. Dishonor on his family won't stand. Just in case you're that crazy good at Dark Souls, maybe you've seen this one before, but since it's pretty unlikely, it's on this list. In the Dark Souls 2 DLC, there is one boss that holds honor in pretty high regard. Should you manage to defeat Sit alone within 5 minutes and without taking a single hit, you'll dishonor him so much that his death animation will show him committing an old samurai ritual suicide, seppuku. Scrapped systems to trade strength for humanity. There's a lot of features left on the cutting room floor for almost any game these days, but Dark Souls originally included a system where a player could make a pretty interesting choice. You level up each of your stats by spending your hard-earned souls, but there were plans at first to allow you to turn those stats in to restore your humanity. Each stat reduction was worth 4 soft humanities for the player, with the bottom floor being the base stat you had to begin with at the start of the game. This feature isn't fully functional if called in-game, as it wasn't finished, but it could have been a version of a respec system years earlier than we got one. An insane amount of detail. Nobody can ever accuse From Software of not putting in frankly stupid amounts of detail into the worlds that they build, and internal consistency has always been huge for them. If you see a structure in the distance and it looks important, odds are you'll be able to go to it and it will feel geographically consistent. YouTube series Boundary Break loves to poke around in all kinds of games, and among the cooler things he found was a small village, so ridiculously far off in the distance that you would never ever see it, but modeled in 3D, complete with horse stables. Helper Priscilla. Within Dark Souls, there exist unused animations for standing and sitting for the usually static character, Crossbreed Priscilla. A developer interview revealed that she was originally meant to help the player character in much the same way that the Firekeepers do in the final game, changing her role in the game and leaving those animations from what could have been on the cutting room floor. Weapon switching. Within Dark Souls 2, one of the NPCs, a fellow cursed turning hollow, Lucitil of Mara, can be found during your journey, and if you make the right choices, even offer her assistance. She wields a great sword and shield in the final release. Early concept art depicts her using a thrusting sword. Alternative energies. Early into Dark Souls, Blighttown got famous for many things, but the most interesting never got noticed until much later. There's an elevator down in Blighttown that works as something of a shortcut, and video game logic being what it is, perhaps the thought of what's powering the machine never crossed your mind. But angle the camera just right on the way down and off to the side. On a spinning hamster wheel, you'll notice this lonely, precariously placed dog running along, providing power to the elevator. We can dance if we want to. Dark Souls 3 Firelink Shrine is home to many helpful NPC characters, which is a rare sight in the series. You'll return to the Firekeeper again and again throughout your journey, and a little playing around will reveal that she's one of the most responsive characters in the series. If you were to toast her, she will do a little spin in response. Try a few yourself. Bloodborne transfers. You'll die in the Dark Souls series, and you'll die a lot. Maybe you lost track of your route and missed your bloodstain. That lonely little splotch of souls won't stay waiting forever. If a player loses a large amount of humanity and souls and leaves the splotch for a while, there's a chance for it to decide to move along to another player's game world as a vagrant enemy. A rare sight which, if overcome, will reward the player who finds them with some rare goodies. Toxins? Burn them to the ground. The beautiful painted worlds are some of the most memorable set pieces in the Dark Souls series, but the toxins that infest some of them are anything but fun. Luckily, there is a secret way to dispel them and cut out that little bit of frustration. Just burn them. Any old fire weapon will do to neutralize those nasty toxins post-haste. Enter LOTHRIC Castle early. Want to test your skills or just sneak some more powerful gear to help you through some of the mid-game content for Dark Souls 3? You can get into LOTHRIC Castle earlier than intended if you track down the NPC called Emma on top of the high wall of LOTHRIC and try to kill her. This will trigger a boss fight with Dancer, which is supposed to come far later on. If you can persevere and defeat her, you'll gain access to LOTHRIC Castle much before you're supposed to. Then again, if you can beat Dancer at such a low level, you probably don't need the gear. The mysterious pendant. At the start of Dark Souls, even before setting foot into the game proper and creating your avatar, the player has the option to choose a gift for their chosen undead. Among the many helpful options, the pendant was what caused the most theories to echo throughout the fandom. You couldn't equip it, there was nothing in the item description alluding to a use, and appeared to do nothing at all. In a game so deliberate, players put their heads together for months trying to find out what this item did, only for director Miyazaki to reveal finally in an interview that it actually did nothing at all. He put it in as a prank for the hell of it. Save Knight Solaire. Knight Solaire is one of the earliest figures in the Dark Souls series that's actually a friendly face, and not either indifferent to you or hostile. First finding him staring at the sun on top of the undead Berg, he can come to your aid several times throughout the game. But if you happen to follow this really specific side quest that takes you to the bottom of Blighttown through a hidden wall to joining the Covenant Chaos Servant, offering up 30 humanities to reveal a shortcut to Lost Izalith, where you'll find a Chaos Bug. Killing that bug prevents it from killing Solaire later on, and altering his very fate. If you manage to follow this very specific, obtuse side quest, Solaire can even help you against Gwyn. And that'll be about it for this one. If you guys like what we're doing at GamingBolt, please consider subscribing to our channel, and I'll see you guys on the next video.